Look at that spark. Alright, so I just click stop now?
Yeah. Alright, y'all. So you read the title. Topic of this vid is pretty simple. I got a couple things I want to talk about, so let's get straight to it. I also got my boy Marcelo with me.
What's good, y'all?
Great dude. He's gonna chime in on a couple of these topics here. We're just gonna be chopping it up and talking about it. So let's get straight to it. We're not gonna sugarcoat this. Porn, OnlyFans, everything like that. That's obviously what we're touching on. First thing I want to touch on is perception. Something that I think is a really big issue as far as pornography, OnlyFans, everything like that, is the perception. Our perception of everything is skewed. Whether that be our perception of women, how women should look. There are people my age, 18, or there are kids that are growing up, because of how easily accessible it is, there are kids that are growing up 13, 14, 15 that think this is how a girl should look, and they're only attractive, they're only beautiful if they have these physical attributes. I don't have to explain, you guys already know. It's just unfortunate. Our perception is completely skewed as far as what a woman should be, even what a man should be, how much he needs to be packing to be a high value man. Another thing that is very unfortunate is our perception of sex as well. And one thing I want to touch on too is the whole point of me making this video is I want to speak from a level of like relatability, right? If you're watching this and you're struggling, like I've probably been where you're at. It's not even a probably, I've been where you're at. And for me, I've been so far out of that. I've been so like not on that. I can't even think of like watching anything or jacking off, that I forget that it's a problem. It's a struggle for a lot of dudes. I forget that. So I want to make this video and really like talk to y'all eye level, like one-on-one, just let you guys know like, hey, whatever you're going through, you're not alone in it. With sex, right, we're watching these people on these screens and you know they're making all this noise for the camera, they're doing all these things, and that's not how it is, you know what I mean? That's
100%. We have this perspective on this act to where when you actually go and do it in real life, it's not as what you would think it would be as through your screen. Sex is something that should be valued and should be something that you cherish with the other person, because when in all reality, when you are just open to having sex, what's so special about it? Sex is the closest thing that you can do with your significant other. So the fact that someone is able to just go out and openly commit such an act just kind of devalues everyone else, including themselves.
I'm glad that he said, you know, devalue. I think that because of this skewed perception that we have of women, a lot of these girls also, and this is a societal issue that's not even just with, you know, pornography, it's with just pop culture nowadays, is that a lot of these girls are growing up thinking I need to look a certain way, I need to basically go out and show, you know, my body off, because that's what's going to make me a high value woman, when in reality it's what's behind that, right? It's not about what I can see with my eyes, it's about what I can intake with my mind, right? So of course, like I talked about in the long distance video, you know, you can of course acknowledge the attractiveness of a girl, the objective attractiveness. Oh, they have these features, you know, they look good, right? But just as I said before, your looks get you through the door, your personality and your mind is what keeps you in the room. Anyone can get with anyone and they think, oh, because, you know, she has a big butt and big boobs, she's automatically boom, that's who I need to be with. And then you realize, wait, okay, I might, and this is no dig to anyone, you know, who has those features, it's just like somebody might realize, hey, wait, I kind of picked this person for the wrong reasons, like I'm with this person for the wrong reasons, they might not be my match. And too many people find that out too late down the line. To wrap the whole thing up on perception, like Marcelo touched on, sex is very vulnerable, very much like a shared experience. There's, you know, the intimacy involved. The problem with pornography and the way we're growing up in society, thinking that this is how things should be, it takes all that out of it. It takes the vulnerability, the intimacy, it takes all that out of it. There's a difference between having sex and making love, right? So like, I'm sharing myself with someone. There's a level of romance. We also have to remember, we're all children of God, right? So when we look at these women, you know, this young kid looks at this girl and, you know, he may think nothing of it, because, you know, I'll never meet this person in real life, this and that, like it's whatever. But that's somebody's daughter. You know what I mean? That's somebody's daughter, that's somebody's sister, that's maybe even somebody's mother. So for me, I would never want to look at someone like that, because I would never want like my daughter or my significant other or my sister to be looked at that way. Like when you really put it in that perspective, you really think about it like that, it's just foul. Like it's just not. It just doesn't make sense. Like doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. It's just not right. The next thing we're going to talk about is what's natural or what's normal, like what we consider normal in our society. People that are very upfront about it, there are two types, right? There are people that are very upfront about it. Oh yeah, I'll beat my meat, crank one out, this and that. And then there are people that, you know, might feel shame about it. You know, they might keep it very under wraps. They might, oh, I can't say anything about it, and they feel bad about it. To the people that are very upfront about it, the sentiment is, oh, well, it's normal, like we all go through it, this and that. But the problem is that it's been normalized. It's natural to be a pubescent teen and feel the way you feel, have your hormones running through you. That's natural, that's normal. What's not normal and what's been made normal is, okay, because I feel this way, I'm gonna whip out my phone, super easily accessible, and watch two people have sex on the screen. That's not normal, but we've made it normal. I think that's a very important distinction that needs to be made, is that this is not something that's necessarily normal. If we think about caveman days before there were phones, do you think that it would be socially acceptable for a teen guy to walk in a hut in the bedroom and watch, you know, the biggest, strongest caveman guy and the most beautiful tribe woman get it on? Like, is that normal for them to just watch? You know what I mean? So by no means is watching porn normal. It shouldn't be normal. Masturbating, everything like that, it shouldn't be normal. Like feeling the way you feel, yeah, but it shouldn't be normal. I mean, there are a lot of great, important points to cover, but this is probably one of the biggest for me. Like, this is one of the biggest points that when I think about, I'm just like, damn, dude. In my eyes, what the problem with the industry is, Pornhub, Brazzers, all these sites, OnlyFans, anything that's explicit, not safe for work, the problem is this. That business is booming because it's an industry fueled off of men who are developing a need for this content. If you want to put your body out there and you're comfortable with that, then go ahead and do it. No shade to, you know, porn stars or OnlyFans content creators. If you want to do that, I'm not here to judge you. I'm in no place to judge. At the same time, this content, everything like that, it wouldn't sell, it wouldn't be as successful as it is if it didn't have a target audience, if it didn't have people that are consistently watching it, subscribing to it, paying for it. So I don't have an exact percentage, but a lot of these guys that are subscribed to, you know, OnlyFans people are married men. For me, that's something that I can't even fathom. Like, you have a whole wife, potentially a whole kid. So it's like, imagine you have a daughter and a wife, and in your spare time, your free time, that's what you do. How can you have a wife and a daughter and still look at women that way? I think that's unfortunate.
To kind of elaborate what Jacob is saying about how the industry is basically fueled by married men. Not only is it also fueled by
not even just married men, it's just like men and women. I kind of wanted to elaborate not so much on the whole digital aspect of pornography, but also the physical hookup culture. That's a good point you bring up.
So a lot of people, teens, adults, young adults, they have a lot of one-night stands. They like to go out and party, drink, have fun with the boys, girls, whatever. Most people end up getting with another person by the end of the night, and they don't know who that person is. They don't know anything about them. In the end, it basically makes you commit an act in which you really didn't want to do because of a third-party substance. All this is being, like what Jacob was saying, normalized. You know, it shouldn't be something that should be practiced every day. Once in a while, it's cool to have a good time and go out, but at least know limitations and know what to expect. It's like a numbers game. If you can get with this person, then you can get with the next person, then it eventually leads to like a cycle of...
Yeah, a cycle of misconception of what sex should be.
Yes.
I think forgive me if that's...
No, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and pornography is like a microcosm. This is just one thing that people deal with. If I grow up, or if anyone grows up consuming this kind of content, subconsciously, that's what they're gonna put out in the world. So they're gonna go about life with this lens that, hey, this is the way things should be, and that's made normal. So like Marcelo was saying, okay, well, I'm gonna just go out and get with as many women as I can and just have fun. But really, that's not, at least in my eyes, that's not how things should be. When so many guys go about life with this attitude, then it degrades women. But to some degree, it's like, if things are like that for so long, then okay, women adapt and say, okay, well, like I said earlier, if I'm a high value woman, then I need to do this. And I need to, get with all these guys, and I need to do X, Y, and Z. When in reality, that might not be the case. You know what I mean?
Right.
Another thing that's important to talk about is really just the negative effects. One big thing is, and at least for me, because like I said before, the reason that I'm making this video is because if you're watching this and you're struggling, like, I've been where you're at. And for me, one thing is, I'm so comfortable talking about it because I know I'm not there. So like, say I sit in a room and like, sex is being talked about, or like, porn, like this and that. I might have a posture and a look that's like, all right, cool. But deep down, I'm like, oh man, like, I hope this conversation doesn't turn to me. I hope I don't have to talk about it, because in a way, I have a little bit of shame, or I had, say, like, a little bit of shame, because I know at any given time or any given night, I could be going home, whipping my phone out, and just, I'm not gonna do the motion, but I could be engaging in that activity. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for being cool about it. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
You guys have a good day.
You too, you too.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so pretty chill guy came through. He said we have to leave. So he was cool about it. So we're gonna get out of here. We'll finish up the vid at another spot. We're on the beautiful beach right now. We had to move locations. That's all right. It's all good. No big deal. So kind of how I was like touching on me personally, my personal experience, like when I'm in a social setting or anything like that, it's like, damn, I think to myself in the back of my head, it's easy to feel bad about it. It's easy to feel guilt. It's easy to feel shame. It's just one of those things that, in my eyes, can weigh you down without you really realizing it. One interesting conversation that I had with someone recently was this. When you jerk off, masturbate, whatever you want to call it, when you do that and you're done, like you finish, I know, so graphic. You might feel tired after, low energy, and it's because, think about it. If applied correctly, that is your life force. Like, that is what you're using to fertilize an egg and to bring life into this world. Stacking this up night by night, and then also consuming content with your eyes and rewiring your brain, that's gonna have a negative effect on you. You're gonna be tired, you're gonna, low testosterone. I'm not a scientific guy. I'm not gonna sit here and hit you with a bunch of facts and studies, but it's just the fact of the matter. Ever since I stopped making it a habit, I feel 10 times better physiologically and just about myself. Self-esteem is a big thing. I'm not gonna sit here and brag, but just thinking back to where I was then versus now, it is a confidence booster knowing that I don't do that. You know what I mean? I feel better about myself. There are some people out there who watch this stuff and some dudes, they can't even actually speak to women out, like, not even in like a romantic way, just like in a friendly context, like, or speak to anyone for that matter. It's just uncomfortable for them to socialize and everything like that. And as humans, we're made to connect, we're made to socialize, we're made to, like, we thrive on relationships, on making those connections, those qualitative, rich interactions. There are people who live longer. They live longer. Their lifespan is lengthened because they just have people to connect with and talk to. And I think that's really interesting. That's literally, that just can affect how long we are on this earth. With all that being said, the last thing I want to touch on is, how do you move forward from this? How do we cut this out? How do we put a stop to it? There's a couple things that I kind of want to give my take on. If you're asking me, the one thing I would say is just, at least in my experience, it got to a point where I decided okay, I actually need to stop. You know what I mean? And I don't know at what point that might take for you, but for me it was just all right, this is not working for me. It's just not, this is not chill. And there's, you know, there's communities out there, there's X, Y, and Z, there's, you know, NoFap, there's people that keep track and have counters and this and that. I kind of want to comment on that because, you know, yeah, while it's great to keep yourself accountable, keep track, push yourself, I think it's also important to just make a choice. I see these comment sections sometimes, like on Instagram or TikTok, and somebody will be saying, you know, I'm 7 days clean, 23 days clean, 186 days clean. And I just feel like when you use that vernacular, when you adopt that language, you almost like make yourself sound like an addict. And when there's a number attached to your growth, like, yeah, of course it's good to keep yourself accountable, but, you know, we're not perfect. We're all human. So say you are on your way to getting clean and you know, you mess up. You have that moment where you're not your proudest moment and you do it again. And say you have a great start, like 100 and something days. It's like, okay, well, are you working toward a number or do you want more for yourself? It's easy to get caught up in, well, damn, I made it this far. I made it that many days. How am I ever going to reach that again? Or how am I ever going to meet that height? How am I ever going to do that? And you know what? If you do it, you do it. In my eyes, it's less about meeting a number goal and just making a lifestyle decision. Okay, this is just not something I'm gonna do anymore. This is not a practice that I'm gonna make a habit. It's not a part of who I am. The more I think about it, the more I kind of tie it into my faith, in the sense that it's the same way where, you know, you sin, you make mistakes, you fuck up. The worst thing that you can do is to like sit in a pit of shame about it, because at the end of the day, that's all the enemy wants for you, is to just feel bad about it, get yourself down about it, dwell in it, and that's gonna lead you to more. Whereas all the Lord wants for you is to just, you know what, humble yourself, ask for forgiveness, and just move on from it. Just be better. You can apply that same logic to here. Like, you know, if you do it, if whatever, like, just pick yourself up. You don't have to identify with that. You're not your thoughts, you're not your mistakes, you're whatever you want to be. Just move forward, make that decision. This is not something I'm doing. That's that. Looking back on where I was in my life, you know, I would never want to be there again. I wouldn't want to do it, but I feel like God let that happen in a sense. Because honestly, I wouldn't be the guy I am today had I not made it out of that cloud, that time of my life. Because of that, I was able to almost be like a butterfly, like a caterpillar in a cocoon, and then fly out of that and leave that behind. And now my mentality is so much different. I would hope that you, your loved ones, your friends, even your future kids one day never stumble across any type of pornography or explicit content. But sometimes it's necessary for our growth. I'm not condoning you watch porn, but I'm just saying, you know, I wouldn't have the thoughts and opinions that I have today had I not made it out of that. You know what I mean? And that's just another thing that I thank God for. Yeah, porn is bad. Definitely don't watch. I hope you guys enjoyed this vid. I want to tackle nitty-gritty things. I don't want to sugarcoat anything with you guys. I want to talk about things that maybe we're not always willing to talk about. And just know that from a human perspective, from a human level, like, whatever you're going through, you're not alone. You're not alone. We're all on this marathon together. So, with that being said, peace out, y'all. I'm out of here.